Guillen was sexually harassed, yet nothing was done to it. For her lacks of responsibility, safety, and respect, because they didn't respect my sister. They didn't keep my sister safe. They always try to cover up for each other. Why? My sister's a human too. She deserves respect. She deserves to be heard.
That's the sister of murdered Fort Hood soldier Vanessa Guillen, and she's upset, and rightfully so. And a lot of what has upset her is not just the fact that her sister went missing, but everything surrounding when she went missing. Had to fight, and her voice was never heard. And a lot of it has to do with what they allege is the culture at Fort Hood. Chanley Painter has more.
The guy outranks her. He's bigger than her. So, okay, so he's not in her command. That's not a reason to say, oh no, there's no sexual harassment.
Attorney Natalie Kawam represents the family of murdered soldier Vanessa Guillen. They maintain Guillen was sexually harassed by fellow soldier Aaron Robinson, despite denials from Army Command.
The criminal investigation has not found any connection between sexual harassment and Vanessa's disappearance.
Robinson is suspected of beating Guillen to death with a hammer on the Fort Hood Army post April 22nd and allegedly recruiting his married girlfriend, Cecily Aguilar, to bury Guillen's dismembered remains. Military investigators suggest Robinson killed Guillen because she threatened to expose his affair with Aguilar. Kawam and the Guillen family aren't buying it.
They should have came to the American people and said, we screwed up. We lost a great soldier that did nothing wrong. But they didn't say that. Instead, they denied any wrongdoing. They denied the truth. And in fact, they lied because they said that there was no sexual harassment.
Guillen's murder revived concerns about a toxic culture toward women in the military and the code of silence that enables it.
Just because we don't see the problem doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Guillen's death sparked calls for an independent investigation and changes to the military's reporting structure for sexual misconduct.
Confidentiality is a key factor in people reporting, and if they feel that their the victimization or their story isn't going to be confidential, they're very hesitant.
There has to be a system in place that provides for a neutral third-party agency to review that complaint. Has no skin in the game.
The U.S. Army Forces Command sent a team to Fort Hood to inspect its sexual harassment prevention program, known as SHARP. According to the Department of Defense, the number of reports of sexual assault from service members has been on the rise since 2012. From 2018 to 2019 alone, the number of reports rose 3%, the DoD said in a report. In 2018, among active duty members, an estimated 24% of women and 6% of men said they experienced sexual harassment, up from 21% of women and 5% of men in 2016. Kawam said Guillen did not report through her chain of command because she feared blowback, and it appears she was not alone. In the wake of her death, service members are sharing their stories using the hashtag #IamVanessaGuillen.
They were talking about how they were sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, demonized for saying something, beat up for saying something, kicked out for saying something.
The accounts echo what service members have said in surveys conducted by the Defense Department. Most incidents occur between people ages 17 to 24 who work or live together, and most reports come from junior enlisted women just like Guillen, whose alleged attacker is the same rank or one grade higher. Guillen's death has cast a harsh spotlight on Fort Hood, a city within the city of Killeen, Texas.
No one is safe on that base, and that's why we need a congressional investigation.
In March, 14 people were arrested in a prostitution sting, including 6 active duty members accused of agreeing to pay money for sex. The scandal is just another sign of the troubling culture that exists on the military base. Aware Central Texas is the family violence center just outside the gates of Fort Hood. Executive Director Misty Biddick says an influx of active duty service members has reached out for treatment, as Guillen's story has spread through posts.
When I see an influx of individuals that have the ability to seek services on post, seeking services off post, and not wanting any of that information to go to their command, that to me paints a picture that there is some distrust.
We're talking about soldiers. These are people who volunteer, who sacrifice everything to protect us. We need to protect them. I can't believe we're having this conversation in 2020. Let's bring back in the think tank. Jeffrey Wolf, should we trust the Army here to investigate themselves when it comes to issues like this?
100% no, Vinny. The military is the last bastion of places where people are not safe to deal with this kind of an issue. It's the place that Me Too forgot. The military has got a horrible statistic that we just saw, that 1 in 4 of their female service members are being sexually harassed, assaulted, and they're doing nothing about it. They're doing nothing to make the numbers go down. They're doing nothing to protect these women. They're doing nothing to protect these soldiers, the same soldiers that they say that they value more than anything on the planet, and they are doing nothing to protect them. It is a farce to think that they can police themselves. They've never been able to stop the rise and the uptick of this. They've never been able to make a female service member feel safe to be a female service member in this environment, or to report when something does happen, because the chain of command protects down, and you just do not see justice for these women. And you can see it in the case of Vanessa Guillen, where she was missing for an elongated period of time. The military was doing very little to solve the issue. And finally, this girl comes forward and says that her boyfriend was involved and that she helped him dismember the body and try and destroy the body. And now they've got the body and they're saying there's no connection to the military. It's just disgusting. And to see what this family is being put through, and they are one of thousands of families dealing with this.
Bernardo, what's the solution here? Because this is a problem. These are our soldiers. There's enough danger in the world, enough enemies trying to get them. We need to make sure that they're safe here.
You know, Vinny, it's a shame and it's a tragedy on all levels. It's so unfortunate that Vanessa entered the Army to serve her country, but yet her country wasn't able to serve and protect her. It's unfortunate the culture within the military of being quiet, of condoning, because technically if you are quiet, you are condoning this type of behavior. I think what the solution is that there should be maybe a special prosecutor or a special unit aside from the military to do these types of investigations. Because the reality is that they try to hide everything within the military, but you can't hide a homicide. You cannot hide a body when that person has family that is outside the military. Unfortunate for these soldiers is that they are around these same people all day, 24/7. So you're stuck and contained with the same individuals that may be sexually harassing you. And it's so unfortunate for Vanessa that she had to die this way, and that her country that she chose to serve could not serve and protect her. We need an outside agency to do these investigations so they can do one that is not biased or tainted.
Joseph Marone, can a story, can a case, can a tragedy like this make a difference and maybe turn the corner for change?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you why. There's always an egregious event. I mean, not to take us back, but George Floyd was an off-the-chart egregious event that just woke the whole country up and has caused people to do things they normally wouldn't do to help change the situation. Well, this is sexual harassment goes on all the time in the military, and it's, you know, it's reported. They whitewash it all the time. Nobody really checks it, and nobody gets held accountable for it. But it took, unfortunately, this woman's horrible death, gruesome death, by a soldier, where a woman allegedly was reporting sexual harassment or sexual assault, went to her friends, and the military did nothing. They did discover the body, and all they're doing is trying to obviously be sympathetic to the family and investigate the case, but they won't admit that they knew anything about this sexual harassment, but obviously there was, and it's bringing enormous light to the situation. So I think this event is going to cause outside investigations. It's going to cause Congress. They're going to take testimony in front of Congress. They're going to have an outside agency, and it's going to it's going to bring together the right people to put the pressure, investigate, and hold people accountable inside the military, so at least they can begin to depress this problem. And that's where I think you're at.
We have to support our soldiers. We have to.